On this episode of Cronkite Sports Report.
They still came out and supported their teammate. That's something special, something a family does.
A hockey player with NHL dreams puts his personal struggles on ice.
We hired her like in a heartbeat because she's such a great person.
A Hall of Famer returns to the high school sideline.
It was interesting. It was actually kind of exhausting though too, trying to get myself to be in such a calm state to have all these games work.
Mind over matter develops a whole new meaning when it comes to training athletes.
I can just tell you from personal use, it has amazing benefits.
We explore the use of medical marijuana in MMA.
We also saw a change in the balance of power in the game of baseball.
And Little Leaguers confront a huge change that will impact every player who steps up to the plate.
Welcome into Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Troy Lynch.
And I'm Casey Demarest. As student journalists at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, we look to bring you unique sports stories with an Arizona connection. We start tonight on the ice. ASU hockey defenseman Brinson Pashnuk is widely regarded as the Sun Devils' top player and most likely to play in the NHL one day.
But off the ice, he struggled to find himself his freshman year, often turning to bad habits in his social life. That all changed in October. And as reporter Tyler Paley found out, there's one thing to thank for that: his faith.
In August 2016, incoming ASU hockey defenseman Brinson Pashnuk knew the route to take from his home in Bonnyville, Alberta, Canada, to Arizona State's campus. But when he arrived in Tempe, he says he found himself off track.
I was lost for sure. Partying 3-4 nights a week.
That way of life carried on his entire freshman year through the first couple of months of his sophomore campaign, until October 29th, 2017.
One night I went to a dinner at my pastor's house, and he prayed over me, and he just said, tonight could be that night where you fully put your trust in God, or you can decide not to, but ultimately you're making a decision.
At that point, he decided to clean up his personal life. Production on the ice was never the issue. Since arriving on campus in 2016, he's been regarded as the Sun Devils' most likely candidate to be drafted to the NHL. He tallied 14 points during his freshman campaign and led Arizona State in scoring this year, but it was away from the rink where Pashnuk admits he was lost.
When I truly came to know Jesus, he literally gave me a new heart. I'm not tempted to drink anymore. The girl situation, I've learned to treat them right and what it actually means to be a man of God, and that's definitely not how many girls you could sleep with or how many girls you could hurt.
The amount he's matured this year is just something I've never seen before, and I think he can attest a lot of that to kind of the step he's taken in his faith.
His teammate and older brother Steen is impressed as well. Every day, he sees firsthand how Brinson has matured since his awakening.
He went from a kid who, was just partying all the time and, just doing whatever materialistic thing he can do to make him happy, to now just, really settling down, becoming more mature, worrying about more real-life problems, and definitely the maturity in him over the past 3 or 4 months has been outstanding.
And his teammates agree. That's why when Pashnuk was baptized on January 28th, the Sun Devil hockey team attended the ceremony, allowing Brinson to reflect and call it the best day of his life.
A lot of them aren't religious at all, but they still came out and supported their teammate. That's something special, something a family does, and that's what we have here.
He's happier, he's truly a better person, and I'm really happy for him for sure.
And as his second year as a college athlete has wrapped up, he'll continue to thank God for what he's been able to do and what he aims to accomplish in the days and years to come. In Tempe, Tyler Paley, Cronkite Sports Report.
Pashnuk says he hosts Bible studies with some of his teammates each week at his apartment complex. He says the sessions draw an average of 8 people per week, with some gatherings having grown to as large as 13.
Next on Cronkite Sports Report.
That's probably the highlight of my career.
A women's basketball legend brings her Olympic lessons to a local high school.
Strength training that doesn't involve a single weight.
MMA fighters find a new way to manage their pain.
And a story about kids, stickers, and baseball that is redefining the sport. All of this coming up on Cronkite Sports Report.
Welcome back to Cronkite Sports Report. Women's Basketball Hall of Famer Jennifer Gillom played and coached at the highest levels of her sport. She won 2 Olympic gold medals and played 7 seasons in the WNBA.
Now she's back in Phoenix helping the next generation of basketball players. Grayson Choi has the story of Jennifer Gillom's transition from playing and coaching professionally to coaching high school at Xavier College Prep.
Jennifer Gillom coached in both the WNBA and the Olympics, but now she's thrilled to be back at Xavier Prep with the Gators in contention for a state championship.
There's just a time where I just got tired of traveling and I wanted to come back to Xavier to coach.
Her coaching career began at Xavier in 2004, where she led the Gators to an impressive 130-25 record in 6 seasons. Gillom's achievements at the high school level catapulted her to coaching opportunities with the WNBA and Team USA. She was head coach for 2 WNBA teams and an assistant for 3. She earned gold as an assistant at the 2012 Olympics, her second Olympic gold medal. In 1988, Jennifer Gillom received a phone call to try out for the women's Olympic basketball team. After what she called one of the hardest tryouts of her life, Gillom earned a spot and eventually took home gold.
Was just elated when I made the team, and then that's probably the highlight of my career, making an Olympic team and winning a gold medal.
Her playing career earned her induction into the Hall of Fame in 2009. She was among the original WNBA players when she suited up for the Phoenix Mercury in 1997. She became a WNBA All-Star and was All-WNBA First Team. Gillom retired after spending 7 seasons in the league and then extended her basketball career as a high school coach.
So we hired her like in a heartbeat because she's such a great person.
Jennifer Gillom marked the start of her WNBA career here in Arizona. After playing and coaching at the Olympic and professional level, she found herself making a full circle and ended up back in Phoenix coaching Xavier Prep.
To me, when you're coaching in the professional level, their skill level is already there. So there's not a whole lot of teaching as well as it is managing. It's emotionally managing. But at the high school level, it's teaching. The difference is that I think high school is just so much more rewarding because you see your work.
Her background, just, we know that she had to work hard for what she got, so just her knowledge on what she did makes us believe that we can do what she eventually did.
No one thought I would be where I am today. No one really believed in me then, and then it was through my hard work and grace of God, first of all, and this, I mean, it all came together.
While Jennifer Gillom played and coached at the pinnacle of her sport, she now focuses on developing young athletes. She hopes to foster them into successful basketball players that can go on to compete at the next level just like she did.
Gillom led her team to the 6A state final in her first season back on the Xavier sideline. The team finished the regular season undefeated at home. And while Gillom's focus is primarily on the court, One Valley Company is turning to the mind to help players improve their games.
And athletes are always looking for an advantage over the competition. For years, athletes would work out their bodies to become bigger, faster, stronger. You know the drill. But now there's a device that helps people work out their brains. Athletes exercising their body, pretty standard. But athletes exercising their brains is the future of sports.
It's an amazing thing that we haven't even scratched the surface of understanding the efficiency of the brain.
Dr. Leslie Sherlin started Versus 5 years ago and is revolutionizing the athletic world. His product enables athletes to gain a competitive mental advantage by working out their brain to keep them sharp. Something I had to try out for myself.
There's this educational component of just understanding how our physiology contributes to our performance. So that can unlock insights into better training strategies, better play strategies, understanding where my opponents or where I have a weakness, and so I can mitigate that.
This headset has 5 sensors on it and is hooked up to an application that can be downloaded on any iOS and eventually Android device. The app has you go through various tests and exercises to help analyze brain data.
Literally what you're doing is learning how to teach the neurons to fire at a different rate and at a different intensity in order to be maximally conducive for the type of thing you're doing.
Some sports stars are already taking advantage of the technology. Those who currently use it include Cleveland Cavaliers forward Kyle Korver, 3-time Olympic volleyball gold medalist Kerry Walsh Jennings, X Games gold medalist Travis Pastrana, and more. Sherlyn let us set up Hannah Papaco, a student athlete at Ottawa University, with the device to see how she would react.
It was interesting. It was actually kind of exhausting though too, trying to get myself to be in such a calm state to have all these games work. This was something really different, and it makes me really aware of if you get in touch with your mental side, that brings you a lot of success.
One of the games that Papaco played was a hot air balloon simulation. The goal of the game is to make the hot air balloon rise as high as possible by trying to line up the 3 circles on the bottom of the screen. In order to do that, you have to be in a constant state of focus. The more focused you are, the higher the balloon will go. When time runs out, you receive a summary of how you did and the kind of state your brain was in.
We can see how does your brain react and give it a number, and then we can train and we can then retest and see how that number shifts.
You know, some sports it is more physical than it is mental, but at the same time everyone has to use their mind when it comes to things. Everyone has to overcome challenges in any sport that they play.
Even just one session of Versus can be educational, and there are some people who use it every single day. But to receive maximum benefits, it's recommended that you use it an hour a week.
All of us have the capacity to be better at what we're doing than we are right now. So we can focus more intensely, we can calm ourselves, manage ourselves more appropriately in challenging circumstance.
And athletes are just the start. Sherlyn added that Versus can also benefit everyday people who don't play sports.
We want to maximize the time we have, maximize the productivity, stay in our jobs longer, enjoy our families longer, and so everybody is in agreement that staying activated, engaging in novel stimuli, participating in these types of things keep the brain healthier, performing better for a longer period of time.
In Mesa, Troy Lynch, Cronkite Sports Report. Sherlyn mentioned that there isn't a set age limit when it comes to Versus. The youngest person to use it was only 6 years old.
Still to come on Cronkite Sports Report.
Not everybody has pain the same way every day.
MMA fighters find a new way to manage their pain.
I remember seeing the ball go flying off his head over the fence.
And Little League calls batter up to a new equipment standard.
Welcome back to Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Troy Lynch.
And I'm Casey Demarest. Some athletes have begun to turn to marijuana-related products as an option in place of traditional medicine.
Reporter Ethan Gaines explores the prevalent usage of medical marijuana in the MMA community.
Undefeated heavyweight MMA fighter Tyrell Fortune has dealt with some serious pain during his MMA career.
I tore my bicep. And coming back from that, I had to get surgery twice. Coming back from that was really, really hard because I was in a position where I had to take pain pills because I was in extreme amounts of pain. I was like a zombie. You don't feel the same. It really affects you.
According to recovery.org, between 52 and 71% of professional fighters have used opioids at some point in their careers to help them with injuries. Some, like Fortune, have chosen to use more natural products like cannabidiol, also known as CBD, a compound found in marijuana that does not affect mental functions and can alleviate pain and swelling, according to Medical News Today. CBD also does not have the same addictive effects as opioids. Laura Bianchi is one of the leading cannabis attorneys in the state of Arizona and an amateur MMA fighter with first-hand experience with CBD.
I can just tell you from personal use, it has amazing benefits for just inflammation and pain and the healing process. I think it shows that people are beginning to more and more accept it as a medical treatment, as an adjunct therapy. This is a step in the right direction and allows fighters to use something that is natural without fear of punishment, suspension.
Medical marijuana and CBD use has been legal in Arizona since 2010. Medical marijuana expert Jane Fix says that CBD gives athletes a more natural and non-addictive way to treat pain.
My issue with Western medicine is that there's so many side effects. What initially started out with one drug to solve one thing became taking 8 drugs. It becomes this mixed cocktail bag, whereas if you could just take a dropper of CBD or apply it where it hurts, when you can use a product that's not gonna stay in your system, you can adjust to just exactly what you need. That's the ideal thing because not everybody has pain the same way every day.
The World Anti-Doping Agency removed CBD from its banned substance list at the beginning of 2018. Since MMA organizations adhere to the same banned substance list, this means that fighters can freely use CBD before or after fights, as long as the product doesn't contain elevated levels of THC, the compound in marijuana that affects mental functions.
Having CBD legalized is fantastic, but you still have to be cautious because we don't have a lot of standardized testing. We don't have a lot of standardized controls and things in place. You can have CBD that has low or no trace amounts of THC, and you can have CBD that is actually combined with THC. So you've still got to be cautious and know what you're consuming, especially when you're dealing with testing requirements. No matter what dispensary you walk into and what state, things should be consistent and cohesive. And that's something that just comes with the industry maturing.
CBD is legal for medical use in 44 different states, with only Idaho, South Dakota, West Virginia, Nebraska, Kansas, and Indiana making it completely illegal. In Phoenix, Ethan Gaines, Cronkite Sports Report.
CBD product sales have continued to rise. The CBD market is expected to be a $1 billion industry by 2020, according to the data company, the Brightfield Group.
Coming up next on Cronkite Sports Report.
He cranked the shot right back at the box and caught my son in the forehead.
Little League Baseball is making kids change their equipment for their own safety. There have been a wave of rule changes in Major League Baseball for the 2018 season.
But players at the youth level are also making big adjustments for their season. Reporter Blaine McCormick explores what parents need to know about the new rules for their kids' bats.
It's a sound that engulfs a sport. A familiar ping that echoes throughout the Little League diamond. But this sound is being tuned to a different pitch.
Little League has always tried to enforce safety rules with respect to the bats. But what's happened is the manufacturers of the bats have sort of engaged in a race to make the most powerful bats. It's involved certain safety issues throughout the years, and that's what brings us to today.
As of January 1st, bats and youth divisions are required to be certified by USA Baseball, the national governing body for amateur baseball.
Pitching from so close, every once in a while you get some kids that are a little bit bigger for their age and they can hit it harder, and all of a sudden you take a ball back to the box off a kid or something like that. So it's more of a safety concern, given the way the old aluminum bats used to be as far as how active they were.
The decision surfaced in 2015 when Little League and other youth baseball programs announced new technology advancements to standardize performance across all bats. It was all in an effort to decrease the risk of injury and improve player development.
First was safety. We saw line drives coming off of bats very quickly that kids could not get out of the way of, that was creating a safety hazard. We also saw a change in the balance of power in the game of baseball. Small ball, or sort of a lot of traditional ways of playing baseball, was starting to be lost as a result of the power of the bat.
The distance from home plate to the pitcher's mound for 9 to 10-year-olds is 46 feet. Now, Radomski said that 3 months ago, a batter hit a ball with such high velocity that it struck his son right in the head while he was pitching.
He cranked the shot right back at the box and caught my son in the forehead. All I remember is seeing the ball go flying off his head, over the fence, the hat went flying. He walked off the mound, took some steps, and went down on his knees. Like I said, it's every parent's worst nightmare to see that happen.
Thankfully, the Radomskis never had to take their son to a hospital. A physician was in the stands when the incident happened, and he did not suffer a concussion. The new bats must be stamped with the USA Baseball logo to signify they are approved. The stamp is earned through a bat performance test that the manufacturers must pass. No stamp, no swing. In Scottsdale, Blaine McCormick, Cronkite Sports Report.
These changes will affect all youth divisions in Little League Baseball. For senior leagues and older sections, they will continue to follow the BB Core standard that governs high school and college baseball.
That'll do it for this episode of Cronkite Sports Report. As always, thanks for tuning in.
For even more local stories and Arizona sports reporting, be sure to check out our daily Facebook Live show, Cronkite Sports Now, on the Facebook page of the Phoenix Sports Bureau of Cronkite News.
For any and all of your digital needs, be sure to check out arizonasports.com under the Cronkite Sports tab. And for news from across Arizona, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
From all of us here at our downtown studio, thank you for tuning in, and be sure to catch our next episode.